Today I'm going to talk about the Kemper profiling amplifier. If you are watching my channel, you may know that I like modeling amplifiers, modeling units. Favorite one is currently the AxeFx 3 by Fractal Audio, but I own other units too. And one very popular unit is the Kemper profiling amplifier, which I also own. And recently I got a couple of questions regarding the Kemper. And one question was, why do you not use the Kemper very often? Or another question was, which one do you prefer, the AxeFx or the Kemper? And also I got a lot of questions, which is better. And yeah, today I thought I would make a video and talk a little bit about my perception, my opinion of the Kemper. So I have the Kemper rack unit without the power amp section, so it's not supposed to be used with a conventional 4x12 cabinet. Usually I use my modeling units plugging straight to the front of the house. And it's true, I don't use the Kemper very often. And that is for a couple of reasons. The first reason is, which you may guess, I think the AxeFx just sounds better. And of course, you could try to match the sound in the AxeFx and the Kemper, which I did in the past. But I have to say, I did it with all of my units, AxeFx 1, 2, 3, with the mowers, with the even with the Yamaha THR, and it was never 100% like the original. Felt different when playing, but also you could hear a difference. And mostly these differences were in the bass region, or also Kemper seems to overemphasize the 1K, 1.2K region a little bit. Currently, I'm playing the Kemper here. And I'm playing my Plini, Neural DSP Plini profile, which I made the Kemper. I think in another video I will compare my Kemper sound to the AxeFx. Then maybe you can judge by yourself. But yeah. So the first argument for the AxeFx is it just sounds better. The amp sound better. At least I can get my tone, which I like, easier than with the Kemper. The Kemper, the thing is, if you taking a profile of an existing unit, then it's very difficult to adjust the profile afterwards. So it has a built-in EQ, but the EQ is not that good. Just that. I don't know. There are huge differences in EQs, in my opinion. The EQs in the AxeFx are very flexible and very good. In the Kemper, they're not that musical sounding to my ear. If you reduce some frequencies, then it's not like it's supposed to be, or like it's in the AxeFx. So the EQs are not that good, and it's very difficult or very hard to modify an existing profile that it still sounds good. And another thing is, of course you can take another profile, but that is always a little bit of a pain in the ass. If you take a profile, it takes a couple of minutes. Adjust it, refine it, then maybe you're satisfied, or you think it can be better, then you take the next profile. So it's a time-consuming process, which I don't like. I rather like to tweak a little bit more with the knobs I have in the AxeFx. They're way more possibilities to modify the sound in the AxeFx than in the Kemper. For example, the effects chain is much longer, and you have way more effects, and also you have way more equalizers. For example, in the amp block you have a dedicated input and output EQ. And that is something, it's just the amp block, but already it has everything you need. So yeah, that is the first step, but maybe most important thing why I prefer the AxeFx. The other thing with the Kemper is the effects quality is not on the same level like the AxeFx. I'm not the biggest effects guy. I'm using reverb, a little bit of widener, enhancer. And I have to say, for these effects, the enhance effect, the delay, the reverb, they're really good in the Kemper. I cannot complain about these effects. There are other effects which are a little bit, yeah, a little bit questionable. For example, the chorus phaser and also the stomp boxes, well, they're not on the same level like in the AxeFx, at least in my opinion. Also, you have way more effects in the AxeFx, and also you have nice things like the TC Electronics 2290 or something in the X. That's very nice. So yeah, that is another point that yeah, leads me to use the AxeFx over the Kemper. Another thing which is very annoying with the Kemper is that it's not a recording interface or a USB interface. You can nowadays you have the how is it called, rig manager. Then there you can adjust your preset. It's a little bit yeah, well, strange to use. I think the layout is not the best choice, the layout they choose. But anyway, at least we have something, some PC editor. But you cannot use it as a recording interface, record via USB. That is something, I mean, every cheap guitar modeler nowadays can do this, but Kemper cannot. So it's definitely something which is very annoying when recording. Of course, in the AxeFx you can do it. Then you have the routing possibilities in the AxeFx, like yeah, routing the input signal, record direct to separate outputs and several outputs. You can do this in the Kemper too, I think. At least you can route the dry guitar signal to another output, and then of course you have to connect it to different inputs in your recording interface, because the Kemper is yeah, it's not a USB interface. At least not a recording interface. So for recording, it's definitely way more convenient to use the AxeFx. And what else? Another thing, of course, I said the PC editor is a little bit annoying. PC editor, the Kemper and the Fractal, it's well, it's one of the best editors I know. And yeah, another thing which is better in the AxeFx is well, the firmware update. You can do it in the Kemper by using the rig manager. Most cases, at least in my from my experience, it doesn't work. So then you have to use an additional USB stick, download the firmware, enter in the Kemper. Then it takes a long time usually, and the Kemper is doing something and then restarting. And also the Kemper takes a long time to start, which is also maybe due to the weak processor. I don't know. So that is also a point which is better in the AxeFx. Of course, the AxeFx is more expensive, but if you have both, like me, or at least in my case, I prefer the AxeFx over the Kemper. So that is the reason why I don't use the Kemper. And really, well, things that bug me most is that, yeah, this missing recording interface and also the sound. Because honestly, if you want to play the ballpark like these units, like the AxeFx, then you have to get close to the sound, and at least with high gain, couldn't get to the to the sound of the Fractal, or also of the newer DSP Quad Cortex. Sounds always a little bit artificial to me, but I will make another video where I compare these two units, Fractal Audio AxeFx 3 with Kemper. So maybe this sounds a little bit rude towards the Kemper guys, but it's just my honest opinion. It's it's not on the same level like the Fractal units, even not on the level like the AxeFx 2, in my opinion. Maybe many people will disagree, but that is my opinion about these things. Couldn't get the sound which I was satisfied with, like with the AxeFx, with the sound I got in the AxeFx 2 and 3. But that said, you can get kick-ass sounds with the Kemper. So if I wouldn't have the AxeFx 2 or AxeFx 3 as a comparison, I think I would be totally fine with the Kemper. And it's definitely better than anything I could get with the cheaper modeling units, like with the what was it? The old Line 6 Port HD or something. So because they can record by themselves. So that's it from me. Subscribe to my channel. See you soon. Bye.